favorites against underdogs. We have an all-Polish clash between Duda and Nasuta, but let's stick with Magnus for now, as he plays a very strong player, one of Africa's best. And I'm not even going to try and pronounce his last name, Rakotomaharo, I think it is, and Fy, as his friends call him. Magnus plays this move, A3, on move 3.
Yeah.
This was actually played, I believe, in the World Cup. Just today, was it yesterday? Very interesting opening, but again, Magnus freestyling, right?
And Magnus has some visitors in his office that have been helping him to set up this studio. We can see some movement there behind him, but very cool that he is in the Team Liquid studio.
Yeah, and looking very comfortable right now. Magnus Carlsen, he puts a pawn on h3 as well. He's essentially playing the Italian game, just with colors reversed. That means the black bishop is coming out. Normally it would be white bishop in the Italian coming out to c4. And he's playing in a way that's become very popular with the black pieces, just he's doing it with white and now pushing his pawn forward 1 square. Already black's slightly better because Magnus is playing a black opening with colors reversed. And I think he's just, again, waiting for his opponent to decide, giving his opponent as much choice as possible, keeping all the pieces on the board. And at the right moment, Magnus might get tempted to throw some pawns forward. And
Rakotomaharo, was that how you pronounced it, David? He has participated only one time before in Title Tuesday for this split. So it's pretty interesting that he now gets to play against Magnus. I mean, that is one of my main motivations for playing Title Tuesday was I hope I can play against one of the top players that I never get to play against regularly. So it must be very cool for him to get this opportunity now.
Yeah, very, very cool. And it's going to be a great experience for him, still young. He's played in some big events. He's played in Grand Swisses, World Cups, Magnus's opponent. But this is one of the biggest games, surely, of his young career so far. We see the black pawn has advanced forward to d5, then d4, blocking things up in the center. Magnus, meanwhile, motoring his knight over towards the right side of the board where there are threats in the air. Maybe the knight coming forward to pin the black knight. Magnus forced to drop back his bishop. I'm going to say the blocked structure here helps both of them. It helps Magnus's opponent keep the game going as long as possible. Maybe we'll see a time scramble later, but it also helps Magnus just go into maneuvering mode as the clocks are level for now, and Magnus is offering a trade of knights.
Do you think that Rakotomaharo's best chance is that this goes to like some kind of time scramble?
Yeah, I have a feeling. It's hard to outmaneuver Magnus in these block positions. He's the king of kind of knowing where to put his pieces, even if he's playing moves that the eval bar hates.
Yeah, this is good.
Oof. Yeah, maybe it was not this exchange that black should have gone for. Maybe keeping the knights on the board, since white is a bit cramped, would have been the best strategy instead. Knights and bishops leaving, and white is going to push his pawn forward and cement this white knight on a beautiful, beautiful square. Engines tend to prefer these structures for black, just since black has more space in the center. That's why it says slightly better. But we're far from realizing any big advantage for either side. I'm impressed, though, by the clock handling by Magnus's opponent. He's looking very calm. He's done nothing wrong so far.
He's doing a good job, and he even has a slightly better position according to the bar. And he's from Madagascar, so I guess the time difference isn't too big. Magnus in the Netherlands. That's also one of my favorite things about Title Tuesday, kind of bringing people from all over the globe together to play one tournament every single week. Mm-hmm. Like 100 years ago, these two would never have the opportunity to play chess against each other regularly. And now they get to face off.
Exactly. And talking of face-off, there is a face-off between the black pawn and the white knight. That is a free piece that Magnus has just offered. But take this pawn at your peril. I think Rakotomaharo here is reluctant to open up some lines towards the king. And there we go. He didn't. He pushed a pawn on the other side of the board, and Magnus does retreat. I think that was a good decision. Otherwise, the g-file would have been open, and black's king would have been very, very vulnerable. So short-term piece sacrifice there from Magnus. Now the black rook is coming over. I really like black's position, I've got to say. I think Magnus might be in a bit of trouble unless he can mix things up. There we go. The kingside totally blocked now. To trade or not to trade is the question. Magnus in endgames, that's probably one to avoid, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that. But at the same time, in the first game, I felt like Magnus kind of prolonged the game with some like interesting endgame technique, if we can use that word. But and I think it seems like Rakotomaharo here, he is threatening a pawn. He's activating his rooks, while Magnus's rook looks very depressed in the corner.
That's a good adjective.
Yeah.
I was going to be harsher. I was going to say it just looks very, very bad, but you're right. That is not a happy rook in the corner, and the black knight is going round. Like the white knight's going to have one nice square, but it's only one good piece for white. Black's knight equally strong. It's level on the clock. This is going to be very, very close. Black should at some point push this pawn forward, just defend everything on dark squares, and bring the king to the center, maybe improve this black rook. This is going to be a very close game. Magnus, at least, is trying to break out in the meantime. Oof. What are your predictions here for the rest of this encounter?
I think Magnus in the endgame will be able to outmaneuver him eventually, but the longer they both spend on thinking and the less time they have left on their clocks, when they don't get any extra seconds or any increment, I think it could get very dramatic in the final seconds. And also because the board is so locked, so the game is going to be long. And look at Magnus's expression. I don't think he's very happy about what's going on.
Definitely not. And he pushes a pawn forward. That is a bit risky. If the black knight just moves out of the way now, I'm not sure about en passant. There we go. He does move it. The black rook has access points to hit some backward pawns. Oof, Magnus, he's not happy about this at all. And people cheering for a rook sacrifice. You see it in the chat. It is all about the rook, but probably not sacking itself anytime soon. I love how Rakotomaharo's camera is just bouncing up and down. That's because he's shaking his leg, right? He's that nervous.
Yeah.
He's playing the world number one.
It kind of looks like he's playing classical chess in some way, because he's like sitting there thinking with his head in his hand. And he's, he must be very happy with the game so far.
Exactly. He's played really, really well. He's not done anything significant wrong. Maybe he was a bit better earlier, but okay, that has disappeared. Now we see a bishop for knight trade. That's a very good knight for white, a very bad bishop for black. That's my big fear. But black does have the plan of marching the king forward and trying to win white's pawns that are stuck on dark squares. Or I think your prediction is going to come true. I think it's going to be a bit of a scramble, and Magnus, he's got to hope that his knight can jump later, because it's a bit stuck for now.
And I can tell, like, by his expression that Magnus is kind of like, oh, this game has required a lot more thought than I was thinking. Could be a rook trade now, but Rakotomaharo, he is avoiding that, keeping the rooks on the board. Doesn't want to just be left with his bad bishop against that knight. Or maybe that bishop isn't so bad anymore.
Yeah, they do say like even the worst bishop is a pretty decent defender. So yeah, it's tough, right? Like the bishop can never really move; it has to defend its pawn. But at least it does control some squares. Magnus's plan is at some point to push the a pawn, but then his rook will be kind of trapped in front of it. I think Rakotomaharo should just do nothing. Oh, he offers a rook trade. Now suddenly white is much better. He allowed the white rook behind.
Oh, and now Magnus can go win a pawn.
Yeah, he should have just kept the black rook on the back rank, waited, and done nothing, and probably it was just going to be a draw. Now we see a trade of pawns, but Magnus is going round the back, and it's the white h pawn that's probably going to decide this game.
Oh. Oof. And we also see from our little news ticker at the top that Niemann and Bortnik have had some quick wins in round two. Two of the main competitors in the Champions Chess Tour points table. They were both doing quite well there. They were both in the top 10. So that's good news for those two.
Yeah, they've both won tournaments in the autumn split, and both will be difficult opponents for whoever lies in store. Oh, this is so scary for Magnus Carlsen. The d pawn is marching down, but the white king will drop back and block that pawn's advance. Magnus needs his rook to come around. He takes a pawn with check. He's so brave, Magnus Carlsen, in these endgames, especially with his king. And he knows that the knight is going to stop the pawn, maybe even give itself up for the black pawn, while he marches forward, winning now for white.
But only 33 seconds left. I would be more nervous. I feel like Magnus is not in the right nervous mode that you should be when you have so little time left.
Yeah, he's a bit slower than normal. You're right, Magnus Carlsen. The white king drops back. The black rook maybe now should come down to the bottom of the board. There we go. Knight takes pawn forced. Black pins and wins the white knight, but can he stop the h-pawn? He goes maybe the wrong way with the black king there. He's going to take a knight, but his rook cannot get behind. Magnus now is just threatening to move his own rook out the way and make a new queen. He can do it by force here with a check. A new queen is born, and the time scramble begins.
And Magnus is talking a lot while he's in the time scramble. Should we hear what he says?
Let's do it.
Ah, je suis très content. Ah, les amis, on a gagné, c'est incroyable. Oh là là.
I think we heard a little bit of Julian's song there as well, but he said incroyable. So I guess, oh my goodness, this is, but Magnus is already drinking water while he has 12 seconds left. That's how confident he was at the end there.
Exactly. He did win it on the board. Just as he was about to win on the clock to Magnus Carlsen, he managed to swap off down to a winning king of pawn endgame. But look at his opponent.